The next one was kind of what you already talked about, but like how to network. Like people, I guess this is a really good topic because it's like saying like, how do I make friends? Right? Like how do I talk to people, or like how do I be in these spaces? Like, number 4, how to be original in a growing industry.
Ooh, okay. How do you be original in a growing industry? Do you want to start? Okay, go for it.
Maybe I should open up the chat. Like, if anybody, how do you be original in a growing industry? This could go for like any kind of industry that you're in, but yeah, we shall see.
Yeah,
if there's no comments, then you can take the floor right away.
Well, I would say the first thing to being original is to be yourself, because you yourself are an original being. Unless you're a twin, but even then, twins are original beings, right? So the first thing I would say is to be yourself as best as you can, because that's how you be not like anybody else. You can be similar, but if you are yourself, that's going to be the uniqueness that you put into your art. So I think like that's one of the main things, especially like, you know, when it comes to like doing a podcast, like, or you have to be yourself. You can't just be like, you know, spitting other people's ideas or thoughts or whatever. You kind of just have to just be yourself and be okay with that. Yeah. And then that's where the originality comes from. But if you're not okay with being yourself and you're trying to be someone else,
it's not going to work.
It's not going to work. Your music is going to sound like their music.
It's going to sound very inauthentic. And
yeah.
Continue to be you. People will appreciate the artist being genuine always. Yeah. People can spot when you're being a fake at. Can I swear?
Yeah, you can swear. I don't mind.
It's going on YouTube.
Swear. I don't really care.
Say a fake ass hoe, but when you're being like, you know, when you're just being fake, it's not cute. It's not original, and it's just tacky. So just always be yourself.
Yeah.
And if you don't know who you are, like figure out who you are first.
Or even if you don't know who you are, just state that, right?
Just state that. You're like, yo, I don't even know.
Well, I would say like, if you don't know who you are, just when I say state that, I mean just like come to terms with that. You might not know accept it, you know, just don't be like, oh, I don't know who I am, so I'm gonna be someone else.
Yeah.
Right? Just be like, oh, well, who I am currently, I don't know who that is, or I'm currently figuring it out. But as long as you're, once again, honest about it, like I was saying, like I'm building this podcast as I make it. Like I'm not perfect yet. I don't think anybody's perfect.
Nobody is
perfect. So it's like, how can you fully know who you are entirely when, you know, we're talking about the spiritual practice, but it goes on forever. Like you can learn forever. You know, the smallest things are the biggest things about yourself forever. So I think once again, just be yourself. Don't try to be anybody else. And
don't try to copy anybody else's, even when it comes to like your look, like how you look. Like yes, you can be inspired, and it's always good to take inspiration, but make sure you're putting your own unique twist on things and your own style, and even your own way of talking and being. Like sometimes I talk like a New Yorker, but I'm not a New Yorker. Like I like to think I'm a New Yorker, but I'm not a New Yorker. So I was like, yeah, you want to go get coffee?
Coffee, yeah.
And I was like, can I get the chocolate?
And 2 butter tarts.
And 2 butter tarts and 2 apple crumble on the side. Like not New Yorker at all, but that's also just part of my personality.
That's part of, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Where that's just how I talk.
Exactly. And once again, you being able to do that is more you than you not doing that.
Yeah. Could you imagine if I was like, can I just get a coffee? Like just so regular.
I tried to be regular. I tried to be regular back in the day, but it's not fun. Like you go to office, like you're trying to make jokes and like
nobody's having it.
It's not that no one's having it. It's that like there are some jokes that you just can't say.
Yeah.
There's like I'll be sitting all day like, I want to say this so bad, but you just can't, because I work in the office and I have to sit down and I have to be respectful.
Yeah.
But you know, it's like once you aren't worried about that and you're just in a space where you can be yourself, like I think that's super important. So like, you know, don't just try and be regular. Like just be yourself and have fun.
Don't be regular. Don't be regular.
Don't be regular, dog.
Don't be regular. Okay.
Any more questions? What would you say, like, to be, what was it, to have an original sound in the growing industry?
Yeah. what else can I say? I think that's really it. Like, just know who you are, like embrace who you are, like don't shy away from who you are, how you speak. Doesn't even matter if you get criticism or some people's like, oh, I don't like your hair, I don't like your voice, and I'm like, okay,
exactly.
And like, what do you want me to do with that information? Like,
exactly.
Like,
no, it's true,
right? Like, you just have to continue being yourself and be yourself proudly and boldly, and be like, you know, this is who I am. This is my skin color. This is my eye color. Like,
exactly.
This is just who I am. Take it or leave it, boo. Like,
no, that's really, it's really that simple, you know, just be yourself. And because everyone's self is different, by being yourself, you'll have a unique voice. You'll have a unique sound. Like, you will want to make music that sounds different than someone else because you like different things than what other people like.
Right. I was struggling with this for a while because I was like, everybody's coming out with trap music. Everybody's coming out with, I'm a bad, and I love those songs, right? Yes. I'll be rocking on the way here. I was like, I'm a bad.
Yeah.
Those songs are great, but they're not authentic to me.
Yes.
And just because I listen to them, I enjoy it, doesn't mean I want to create them.
Yes.
And so I just have to realize, like, okay, I do classical, I do jazz. This is just what I do.
Yes.
I love it. And this is what really speaks to my soul. And it just embracing that, not hopping on that bandwagon of, I need to do trap, I need to stay relevant.
Were you thinking of like, did you want to do like trap piano? Is that even a thing?
I mean, I thought about it, but I was like, that doesn't really resonate with me. I would love to do it. Some people have remixed my music to trap, and it sounds great. I'm like, I
need to see some of this. Someone's commented down below. That's
somebody did remix that, and it sounded great. So I'm not saying like I would like knock that out, but that's not what you're doing. That's not like my focus right now.
Yeah.
And I don't want to stay relevant to stay relevant. I just want to do my own thing.
Yes.
And the people who appreciate it will appreciate it.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good answer. I like that. Like, don't just be relevant to be relevant.
Yeah.
Those people that are relevant to be relevant,
you're gonna have a hard time because
they're having a hard time of it right now.
How can you be spiritual in your art or your artistry?
Okay. How can you be spiritual in your art or your artistry?
Yeah.
Do you want to go first this time?
This is you.
This is me? Okay.
Go for you.
How do you be spiritual in your art? Well, I think this kind of ties into the last question. I think being unique in itself is being spiritual, right? Now, the more you learn about yourself, your habits, what you like, what you don't like, and whatever, you know, that takes you down a more spiritual path. And you can also look at your art in the same way. What do you like about your art? What do you not like? What did you like in the past pieces that you've done versus what you're currently working on, right? Yeah. And you know, you look at it like that. And once again, when you're doing art, you come at it from a place of like I was saying earlier, like instinct. You know what I mean? You're kind of just going off feel of it, and just like, this is what my body is saying it likes, so these are what my ears are telling me they like to hear, so this is what I'm playing. Okay, and then
how would you define spirituality though, for those who don't know? Or
how I would define spirituality is believing in anything that is not physical, right?
Believing in the unseen,
in the unseen and the unknown, right? Like, for instance, okay, so this is like a spiritual practice, right? So like Wi-Fi, it exists, but we can't see it. Like it's all in the air, it's all around us. We're surrounded by Wi-Fi, but you can't see it. Yeah. And there are other things that are exactly like that aren't Wi-Fi. They're around. You can't see them. They're there. They're doing things. You know, there's energies. There's like spirits and stuff. I don't know if you want to believe in energies and spirits, but like,
they're out there. Yeah,
they're out there. And you know, just like Wi-Fi is out there, if you don't have like, if you're not able to like tune into these frequencies or energies, you won't really be able to see them, right? So when I talk about spirituality, it's like, you know, what is out there that's not really seen? What are some of my repeating positive habits that get me to come out here and record an episode? Like, that's spirituality.
Yeah.
Right. What is, you know, like, what are some of the thoughts that I want to foster and have like continue to come back and maybe even like grow ideas off the thoughts? Like, that's also spirituality.
Yeah.
You know, doing things for the sake of just doing them, right? Not just like, oh, I want to do this so I can make money, but like doing this because you love it, right?
Yes.
That's also spirituality. And those are things that aren't really physically tangible, but they do exist.
Yeah.
They're there somehow. So that's how I would define spirituality. And, you know, to be spiritual in your music is to just be yourself, you know?
Spiritual.
Yeah. I don't know. Spirituality is interesting because there's so much to learn. Like, would you consider yourself a spiritual person?
I would say now more than ever, I'm more spiritual.
Okay.
And that has helped me create the music today.
Yeah.
So I think they are one and the same, or they go hand in hand.
Yeah.
If you're more spiritual, then you're more in tune with yourself and what you want to create, really.
Yeah. And I think when you are more in tune with yourself, you know, those songs that you want to write are already there, right? So the more spiritual you become, the better you become at finding those songs that are like in the back of your head.
Way back in your mind.
Sometimes they're in the back of your mind, or sometimes like, you know, you'll get an idea straight from the universe.
Download.
Right?
Download.
But you know what I'm talking about. Like, people call them downloads or whatever. Like, they can just be random thoughts. You know, some people, the ancient Greeks, they said, oh, well, I got visited by Hermes, the messenger god, because
I'm like, well then.
you know what I mean? He would bring messages to, you know, whatever. So, you know, like, these ideas, like, they come from places, they teach you about something, they might show you something, but it's only once you start doing the work, start doing the meditations, like, start figuring out, okay, why do I want to do something? If you keep thinking of like why you want to do something and you just sit for it, eventually you'll start coming up with solutions, and then eventually some new ideas will just start coming to you because your subconscious mind will be thinking about other things. Like, I would give anyone listening a little practice to do. If you have an issue, like it doesn't have to be a big issue, but like
say to the Instagram live.
Oh yeah, a tiny to small issue that you have, or like a small little problem. Make the conscious decision to be like, okay, you know what? I understand this is a problem, but I'm going to let my subconscious mind figure it out, right? So you just kind of think about it for a bit and just give it a couple of days, right?
Yeah.
And then you'll be doing something. You might be washing dishes or
something
whatever.
Really mundane.
Something really mundane. You could even be tying your shoes. And all of a sudden, you know,
get the answer.
The solution will come. Right, but you have to almost get out of your own way. You have to be like doing something mundane or doing something that you like. I think mundane and doing something you like almost put you in like the same flow state. You know what I mean? Like, if you're doing something you like and you're super engaged and you're just in, you don't know where time is going. Like, those are where those ideas come from. And then also, if you're like, you know, washing dishes and then your mind is already going a million different places, that's also where these ideas come from.
And if you smoke weed, that also helps.
Yeah, but if true, and if you well, depends, because you know, some people, they just might smoke. It depends on what kind of weed you smoke, because there's different kinds of weed. When do you smoke? Are you gonna smoke and then you got a whole bunch of stuff to do throughout the day, or are you gonna smoke at the end of the day and just like chilling out? You know, like for me personally, I like to smoke and then I'll go for like a walk. And then I'll like just look at the stars. Like, every single night I do this. Well, almost every single night. But like, I'll just like look at the stars and I'll just be like, this is crazy. Like there's just so many stars, and you know, what else is out there? What kind of ideas are literally floating in space? You know, like, space is so big, and we can get into this. You know, we've been going for an hour, but like, chances are this universe is so big, you know, that there's infinite versions of me, there's infinite versions of you. You know what I mean? So it's like just being able to look out and be able to like, geez, you can actually see infinite, like,
infinite,
just out there.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So I think we are coming to the end of our episode.
Do you want to answer this? I mean, I know I talked for a long while.
Spirituality as an artist. How can you be spiritual in your artistry? Yes, it's just about being yourself, being authentic, and really getting to know who you are, diving more into your spirituality, meditating, practicing any kind. I would say practicing a little bit more discipline makes you a little bit more spiritual too.
Yeah.
And I would just say exercise, yoga, anything physical also helps with your spirituality and discipline. Praying, if you're whatever belief you have or whatever religion, get closer to praying and, you know, having more of a relationship with whatever God you serve. And I think that will ultimately translate into what you want to create. I know for me with Spanish Rose, the idea seemed, even to this day, like when I think about it, it just seemed like such a weird like word, or it just seemed like a really weird thing. Like, how could I just come up with like Spanish Rose? Like, what does it mean? Like, what's the spirituality behind it? Why did I get this idea? Why did I even get this idea to make this music, right? And it came because I was really in tune with myself, and I was really like, you know what, I see myself as a beautiful Spanish rose, and there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with seeing yourself in whatever light you want to see yourself, and translating that through your artwork.
100%.
That, you know.
No, I 100%. But that's what you want. You want to see how you see yourself how you want to, you know, portray yourself through your art. So I think that's, you know, I agree with that. You know, how you see yourself, like,
how you,
100%. I agree.
For the longest time, I really just told myself, I want to make beautiful, sexy, exotic, bold, different, unique music. Like, I was really like intentional about that. I'm like, this is the music that I want to create.
That list you just said sounds like you said it like 100 times. Like,
I said it 100 times to myself. Like,
that's what I was. Dulcie was like, yeah, no, I can tell.
Like, bold, whatever she said, whatever God you serve. Yeah, I was like, I just want to create like bold, sexy, like get you in your feelings and be like, what is this? Like, I don't even like, that's the music that I want to create. And that's also the feedback that I got on it. So it started really spiritual. I was just like, yeah, I'm going to make this music. And then the response was like, wow, she's so beautiful. Wow, she's so talented. She's so intelligent. Her music makes me feel ways. Like, I feel like I can sip wine and get in a bubble bath and like listen to it. And I'm like, that's what I want. That's what I want you guys to feel. Because I feel that way for myself.
And it's so crazy how, like you said, that was the intention you had when you went into it. And then on the other side, that's the feelings that people are saying that they're experiencing. You know, like, so I think that's super fascinating. It's like, I want it to feel like this. And then people are like, oh, this is how I feel when I'm listening to it. You
and
know,
I'm like, well, good. Like, that was the point.
Exactly. But that's how you know, like, you know, you're sticking to that intention. You're super committed to that, and it translates through the art. You know, so I think that's super important. We have some time to maybe ask some questions. If you guys want to drop some questions down below. If
you have any questions in the live, please drop your questions. We're going to do Q&A. Some of the musical ones. So, like, when did you first know that being a pianist was something that you wanted to do? Again, it goes back to just seeing it all the time, being exposed to it, and just knowing that, just being fascinated with it, and just knowing, like, I want to do this. And I just have to do whatever it takes to get me there. Definitely came with its ups and downs. You know, doubt sets in. Like, so many things, failure, all of that stuff. But it was just continuing to go and really seeing myself as a pianist. Like, I didn't see, like, you know, when you have that idea, like, you're like, oh, do I really see myself as this?